We thought it was interesting that he said some of his best games had been when there were 7, 8, or 9 guys that had been targeted. We had Jack, our researcher, look into it. 8 is the magic number for him, as you see here. When he targets 8 or more receivers in a game, he's 14-2. 7 or fewer, 8-8. That is a pretty big difference, and as you see, the numbers that follow are as well. So, Willie, do you think that he is right and that this approach might actually be better for him as a quarterback?
You never want to lose like a top guy. You know, I remember when Detroit lost Calvin Johnson. You never want to lose a player like that can change a game, or you could throw it up and 3 guys be on him and make a big play. But for some quarterbacks, when you're not forced, or the pressure of not getting the ball to one guy, and you could survey the field. I remember when Dak first came in to the league, the one thing that I really liked about him is he looked throughout the defense. He broke everything down. He went to the open guy where the ball was designed to go to. He wasn't trying to force it to any one guy. He took what the defense gave him, and he read his options well. So I think he'll get back to that. He understands that. And it's all about the decision-making now of where he goes with the football.
At the time, I think we thought it might have something to do with him being a backup and having chemistry with some of the other wide receivers where Tony was locked in with Dez Bryant. As it turns out, maybe that's just the way he is as a quarterback.
At the time, he had Zeke Elliott running full-time behind him. Last year, when he didn't have him, they had to throw the ball more. That was how they had to get first downs. Instead of getting the lead and getting ahead of the sticks, they were playing from behind the sticks an awful lot, and that's where he targeted this guy. So right now, they don't necessarily have that one guy, but look at some of the best offenses. And I want to use the Rams as an example. The year before, they had Kenny Britt. The year before, Kenny Britt, he was the guy. Boom, he's gone. They spread it out. They get Robert Woods. You get Cooper Kupp. You add Todd Gurley. Yeah, they had Sammy Watkins here as a big play threat, but he wasn't even close. Yeah, he wasn't even close to being their top receiver. So I think this is what Dak Prescott can do with Allen Hurns, who's showing he can have the big play if he comes back from this injury, can also catch and run with the ball. You get Cole Beasley in the slot. Get creative. Really, we were just talking about tight end Rico Gathers and what type of threat he could possibly be if they can mix him in, but also Zeke Elliott catching the ball. You got Tavon Austin, who occasionally give that pre-snap eye candy, even though he's more of a running back than a wide receiver. But I do think the fact that Prescott can spread the ball around a little bit because they've got a running game to occupy defenses, to keep teams out of nickel, that's going to help.
Well, that opens up everything. You got Terrence Williams as well. And the other thing is, we talked about it with the Seattle Seahawks at one time. They don't have any big-name receivers. Well, you got to give guys a chance to develop. You got to give guys a chance to work within the office to make names for themselves. And talking to Dak, he understands that. Like, we got some really talented guys, and no, they're not superstars yet because they're young. They haven't really had an opportunity. But if they get the opportunity and we throw them the ball and they make big plays like a lot of these guys who come out of nowhere, then, hey, they'll be a big name because of what our offense and what we do within our offense.
I think Doug Baldwin is still carrying the chip around from that season
He's so
in
good.
Seattle.
He's so
and
good,
it's worked out well for him.